in child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection, okay? And that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This is someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. True. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
Were there signs there? Were there no signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Georgette True, and I am the co-host for Fight CPS Real Talk with Miss G. And I also work for the law office of Vincent Davis. I have my guest today. Her name is Amy. We're going to hear her story in a bit. But I just wanted to share this. I'm trying to share a couple of stories with you guys, as I do in every show. So today I had a call from one of our potential clients who was looking to hire a juvenile dependency attorney for her case. Her daughter is innocent, and the father of the child is innocent. They had just had a baby. When the daughter was young, I guess she was like 16, she was involved with a young man. She got pregnant. That was back in the days, like decades ago. And she gave up the baby for adoption. You know, she took the baby to social worker, and she didn't want to take care of a baby because she was too young. And then she had a new baby recently, and they removed that baby from the hospital because two things. They accused the father of trying to kidnap the baby from the nursery, which he can't. Nobody's allowed to go in there. Second, they said because she had a prior CPS case. She really didn't have a prior CPS case. She gave up the child when she was 16 or something like that, right? Now, that was decades ago. But they're trying to make excuses saying that because of this and that, we take your child. However, the grandmother never had priors. Example, grandmother and the great-grandmother are still alive, thank God, and well. And the grandfather as well. They wouldn't place the child with the grandparents. The grandmother was getting in the process of getting approved, right? Everything was okay. The home, no records, no priors, whatever. They wouldn't place the child with her, the baby. Instead, they put the baby in an adoptive foster home. And they refused to give the child to a family member, which is against the law. But they're trying to make up excuses. Then they told the grandmother, because in 7 years ago or 8 years ago, she went to the hospital around Thanksgiving because she had a migraine. Like she got a migraine, complex. She was hospitalized. And that was just because of the migraine. So they're telling the grandmother, hey, we don't trust you to care for your grandchild because you had a migraine. What the, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's the craziest shit that they do and say. I'm gonna read this as I read it in all my shows, okay? So Title IV, it gives the state money. That money comes from the federal side. For each child removed from a home and placed in a non-family member home, which is the foster parent, right? They get extra money if the child is special needs. In the United States, the children do not, basically parents do not own the children. It's not your children. The state does own your children, though, because the United States took ownership of the children through public education because it's mandated. So basically, we have children. For them to steal our children and get kidnapped and placed with a home that's not family. Furthermore, they would rather pay a foster parent, right? They would rather pay a foster parent than actually help a mother who's in need. Or a father who's in need, or a couple, a husband and wife who lost their job because of COVID, or lost their job because, they had there's some, the company can't stand right now and they had to lay off people. So basically, they rather, instead of helping the family, the parents, they would rather fund the money, going towards foster parents, foster homes, which is weird to me. It doesn't make any sense. But we all know they're demonic, they're stupid, they're dumb and cowards and narcissistic and sociopathic assholes. So basically, we already know this about it. So our government is not there really to protect people or the rights of the people. They're violating the rights of the people instead. And they're targeting people who cannot afford an attorney. So what the people do, they settle with the court-appointed attorney. And then that court-appointed attorney, people think they're free. They're really not free because they get paid. And I tell people this when they call our office all the time. They think we're the devil because we're asking for a retainer, or they think we're the devil because we're asking for a consultation, or they retaliate and then they write bad reviews on the attorneys. It's kind of like, wow. Everybody feels entitled to get free service. And everybody thinks that they should be entitled because their case is different. No, your case is not special. Your case is no different. The only thing that makes your case different is the length of your case and the county and the state your case is in. That's pretty much it. So you're not different. Every mother out there and father who are fighting, and relatives who are fighting for their family members, all dealing with the same shit. They're innocent. They're innocent. It's disgusting. Okay?
Yes.
So I don't know what to say. I really don't know. I got so many calls of people saying, well, court-appointed attorneys are free. Well, I'm going to say it again. They're free to you, but they get paid. And the reason they're free to you is because they're setting you up to fail even more. Because not one court-appointed attorney actually sides with the mother or the father. Period. They don't. Instead, they actually force them to sign a document saying, admit you did this or admit to this crime and you will get your child back. That's bullshit. They're asking you to sign that so they can have a document to the court saying the parent consented. You can't consent to this shit. You can't. And they make parents do classes, even if there's no domestic violence, but they're doing domestic violence classes. They're doing drug classes, but there's no drugs involved. They're doing this class, but it's not necessary. It is the dumbest shit. Then the parents lose their job because the classes conflicts with their job schedule. And then there you go. And it goes on and on and on. These mother Fs are out of control. Out of freaking control. And it disgusts me. It fucking disgusts me that judges allow social workers to do that. So basically, a judge has no role other than wear a black robe and sit on a fucking bench and say to the social workers, you're right. You're right. Oh, yeah, the social worker's right. Oh, we're going to do this because the social worker says. Oh, I believe the social worker. That's bullshit. So basically, you have no title other than, you have no, how can I say it? You have a title. They have a title, but the ones that really run the show in the courts are the social workers.
I know that.
That's it. That's all. That's what. But yet we have a judge. It just blows my mind. Okay, Amy, thank you for allowing me to speak.
No
Um,
problem. I love listening to you talk.
it's crazy. It's just nuts. But I would like you to share your story with the people, please, Amy.
Okay. Back in 2013, the
Uh-huh.
apartment complex that I'm living in, which is in the county of Douglas, of Oregon, Douglas County. Anyway, the little girl that I raised, her mother, I met her in 2013, and when she got pregnant, the CPS workers came. I watched that little girl come into the world because I became friends with the biological mother, and I was helping her a lot because she is disabled to a point. And okay, yeah, we were friends before she even got pregnant, and she brought that baby into the world. I got to be there. I got to watch that baby come into this world, and I fell in love with that baby. And then the staff at the hospital, I think they reported that she didn't know what she was doing. Yet they were allowing her to do things. I know that they knew what they were doing to her. I mean, I know that much. Setting her up.
What do you mean the staff in the hospital said she didn't know what she was doing? I'm confused about that part.
They said that she didn't know what she was doing with the baby, with the little girl, that she didn't know
Is
how
that her first
to
baby?
do this. Yes, it was.
Okay, so of course it's her first baby. So the nurses there, they're supposed to walk her through the process, like breastfeeding, for example, how to hold the baby, how to breastfeed the baby. Like, okay, but go on, Amy. Go on.
They did, and I know they did that. They did that also with the her second child that she had. But anyway, they gave full custody to the father, and so in order for the birth mother to have visitation with her without having to go to DHS, DHS asked me to become a safety service provider for this little girl, so that I could help the father help raise her, and so that the birth mother could have visits with me without having to be supervised by the Department of Human Services here. And they came out. They looked at my home, everything. I was approved, and we went from there. And the little girl that I raised, she in the beginning she would stay with me like overnight here and there. But 1 to 2 nights turned into 2 or 3, 2 or 3 turned into 3 or 4, and towards the end there, before they came and took her, kidnapped her, she was staying with me like up to 5 days a week, pretty much. And before this ever even happened, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, and well, actually, I lived in a studio at the time, but I moved down to a 1-bedroom apartment, and even I had enough sense to know that this little girl needs her own space. And so we moved our bed into our living room, and I gave the bedroom to her. And so between me, my husband, the birth mother to this little girl, that little girl had everything and anything that little girl could possibly ever need or want. But most of all, she was loved, nurtured. She was too spoiled. I'll give myself that. But my husband and I, we were together. We've been there 22 years. We were together. We wanted a child. We wanted a little girl. We have kids, but they're grown and they have their own babies. But we wanted a daughter, and we never got one. But anyway, I just felt like God put this little girl in my path, and put it on my heart to help this little girl and to help the mom. But they took advantage of the birth mother. I'm sorry, I feel like they did, and they, as well as the the bio father to her second child, her son, who was, by the way, prematurely born, and because of her disability, yes, they went after her. I know they did. I know they went after her for that.
Wow.
And they got her doing services.
Child to the father, like what was so special about the father?
He made
But
a
I know
beautiful little girl, I
I
guess.
know that DCFS loves abusers. I know that. I know they love abusers.
Yeah.
So what was so special about the father?
Honestly, I don't know what was so special about him. Because he had already had a case before this. He has a lot of kids, and his sons were adopted out to his aunt, I think, and then they were able to actually get their daughters back. His daughters, which is the little girl I raised. She has 2 older half siblings. They were in the system for about 4 years, I believe, and they ended up getting they ended up getting the girls back, but the sons got adopted out to his aunt. And see, okay, they are the little girl that I raised. They are her half sisters. These two girls. The oldest one is a little boy crazy, I guess, right now, which I understand that she's at that age. But she accused the father of I don't know if I can say it. Can I say it? What she accused him of? Okay, she accused him and her mom's boyfriend of sexually assaulting her.
Oh my God.
Okay, now you would think, now just from dealing with these people for over a year or about a year, I guess, you would think common sense tells you when a accusation like that is made, that your home is going to be swarmed with child welfare, cops, and whatever else. They're going to take anything and everything you have in your home as far as laptops, phones, and stuff, right? That did not happen. They did not. They waited like 3 or 4 days before taking the girls to get checked out by a doctor because they used their doctor. Okay, wouldn't you take them immediately to get checked from being removed? No, that didn't happen. And when they come in my home, the child welfare worker, when she came into my home to take Tesla. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh God, I'm sorry. I did not mean to say that.
No. It's okay, baby. It's okay. Don't worry. Go ahead. Don't worry, babe. I understand. It's emotional, Amy. It's emotional, honey. Take a deep breath. It's okay.
But when they called me before they came over and asked me, did I have her? I said, yes. And they said, okay, well, we need to come check on her. Okay, they never said anything about taking her. But when they came in with their little clipboard, they stood in my home and lied right to my face and said, they asked my husband and I, have you guys ever thought about becoming foster parents? If you go through the foster process, which we can speed up as an emergency thing for you guys, which I know now is a lie, then you can get her back. We can place her back in your home. We went through the process, the certification process, which took longer than 180 days to even begin with. And we went through the parenting classes. We got everything in our home the way it was supposed to be, everything. And I got a call from my certifier, and she says, okay, I just met with my supervisor, and we are going to move forward with opening up your home. And I got so excited. Oh, let me tell you, I got so excited. And then 3 days later, I get a phone call from her saying, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to close your home temporarily and put an extension on your certification so it's not just sitting there open. And I said, why? She says, because the caseworker is not willing to give her back to you at this time.
Oh, my God.
It was so hard. I mean, before they got here, I took her in her bedroom and I set her down and I told her what was going to happen. I didn't want to scare her any more than what she was already going to be scared. And I'm telling you, I think I handled it pretty well, honestly, but she started crying. And they already had her 2 sisters in the car, by the way. There was no police with them. It was just the caseworkers when they showed up. My husband looked at that caseworker and said, you're making a huge mistake. They ripped our heart and soul out by taking that little girl. And because we don't live in the best place, this place where we live is just, it's not a safe place. And I understand that, but you know what? I kept that little girl safe. She was never allowed to go outside by herself. Never, ever. And there was some bullcrap lie made up by the caseworker that the birth mother had kidnapped this little girl and had took it off with her while she was in my care. And she was gone for 4 hours. I don't even know where they got that at, because that never happened. That little girl was never, ever, not one time, not ever, and I mean, hand to God, left alone with her. And so, see, now it's not even about the accusations anymore, because I guess there was no proof. I don't know. I mean, I'm not seeing any evidence yet of this being done. So now it's about the mom's disability. And they are okay. I got a call a few days ago from the caseworker, and because I had a question as to why. Okay, the first time she tried to take our visits away to where we would only get 2 a month. Okay, and then so I got angry and I went above her head. And I called her supervisor, and her supervisor put a stop to it, and we got our full hour back, once a week hour that we get. And
you tell me the supervisor actually did something, Amy?
Yes, I guess she must have, because
that's kind of weird. Usually the supervisors, they're all, I can't. Anyways,
yeah, they don't return my calls or anything anymore.
Actions, I don't know. Just go on.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, the first time, yeah, in the beginning, yeah, they did something, because the very next day that we walk into the office to go have our visit, the caseworkers in the lobby waiting for us. I had a meeting with my supervisor, and your visits are going to stay the same. Yeah, okay, thank you. And anyways, recently it was. Okay, I wanted to include the birth mother into mine and my husband's visit one day to do a art project, because I'm always taking different stuff to do with her. And anyway, I asked, can she come into our visit for about 15-20 minutes to do a little art project? And then all of a sudden, the caseworker approved her to come into 2 of our visits per month. And no problem. Okay, I don't mind that. But anyways, recently the caseworker said, just wanted to let you know that your visit time is going to be cut down to 45 minutes because she needs to leave early for an extracurricular activity, they call it. Anyway, I said okay, and then she said, and then I think it was like a week later. I got a message from the SSA worker, the one that monitors whatever visits. And she said that just wanted to let you know that I got a message from the caseworker, and she said that while the birth mother is in there, you're going to get your full hour. But when she's not in there, no, we won't get our full hour. Now, I got upset. I wanted answers as to why, why is it when she's in there we get the full hour, and when she's not, we're not going to get the full hour. And I told that to the SSA worker, and she's like, well, that's something that you need to ask the caseworker about. I said, okay, but I think the last text message and voicemail I left her was December 9th of last year. And so she never returned my calls or my text messages. And I told this to this SSA worker, and she was like, okay, well, I'll email her and let her know that she needs to, you want to hear from her. Oh, I heard from her a couple of days ago by her calling me and telling me, technically I don't have to return your phone calls because you guys are nothing to this little girl. And I said, excuse me? And she says, legally, you guys are nothing to this little girl. And I said, what does that have to do with it? Anything. And we kind of went back and forth at each other. I kind of like jumped down her throat. I was angry, and she's like, okay, well, how about this? Would you like it to stay at 45 minutes a week, or would you like to keep that full hour when the birth mother's in there? Well, of course I want the full hour, when she's there. Because every second of every minute of that hour is precious to me. And
How long was the child with you, Amy?
from a newborn till right before she turned 6, about a month
Oh,
before
my
6th
God.
birthday.
Yeah.
It happened June 17th of last year, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much that's the whole entire life of the child. I mean, that's the whole entire,
Yeah.
from the day she was born until almost 6 years old.
Yes.
So the child
Yeah,
already
she was
built
with
a bond with you. The child already built a bond with you and your husband.
Yes.
But wait, let me finish. But yet, they say that they cannot remove the children from the foster homes because the foster parents and the children adopted together. They bonded.
Keep
But
them.
yet
Yeah.
you remove the child from your home, which she already had a bond with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just blows my mind.
I know.
It makes absolutely no sense. You get it now? It makes no sense.
Yes.
What they do makes no sense. Here, there is Ricky. He said, "I really need help, but money is a problem." And Ricky, I'm so sorry. However, attorneys, like I said earlier, court-appointed attorneys get paid still. They're free for you guys, but they still get paid. They don't work for free. And when you call another law firm that specializes with juvenile cases, they don't work for free either. And it is a problem because the longer you guys wait on the case, for example, the longer you guys wait on the case becomes more complicated. It becomes more complex. You know what I'm saying? So basically, it's hard. But I have seen people, for instance, in our office, clients, I ask them every time they hire us, I ask them, how did you get the retainer? What happened? Like, what did you do? Some say they got a loan. Some say they used, they have a house, Some say they sold their classic cars. Some say that they borrowed the money. Some say that they asked all their friends and neighbors to help out and family. And some say that they went from door to door in their neighborhood that they know and asked people for donations. A lot of people tried the GoFundMe account on the GoFundMe page. It doesn't work for some reason.
No, I lost it for a second. It says connected to, and it's strong.
Okay, I think we lost Amy. She's having internet connection, but Ricky, I just want you to say, honey, I want to say to you is that don't give up. There's a way. Find a way, because attorneys really, honestly, no one would be able to work for free. Nobody can be able to pay their bills, if they work for free all the time. It doesn't work that way. And when you're dealing with the juvenile courts, you're dealing from the state. So basically, you versus the state. It's you versus the state, depending on what state the case is in. So in family law, is different. Two parents, for example, two parents in a juvenile court are treated separately. Like, two parents cannot get one attorney to help them with their cases together. It doesn't work that way. They treat you guys separately. And the children has an attorney. In some state, I have seen, if they have 4 children, each child has an attorney, for example. Like, I have parents who call me to say, I have 4 kids and each child has an attorney. And some parents say that one attorney for all the children. So it depends. However, for the parents, it becomes complicated because their thing is they want to set you up to fail 100%, set you up to fail so you can lose custody of your child or your children. Okay? So it's very important for you guys to understand that. So
sorry.
okay, so Amy, Okay, Amy, go ahead. Continue, please.
Where was I at?
I was
I don't
just
remember where I was at.
explaining. I think I was explaining about Ricky saying that he really needs help and he can't afford an attorney. I was explaining about that, and we were talking about that.
Yeah. And yeah.
It's okay for them placing the child with foster parents that they don't know, but they remove the child from you, who you known all her life. So what's happening with the case right now?
Yeah. Let me say this. That little girl has been brainwashed. And I know that's what it is. It's kind of like where your captor becomes, or you become in love with your captor, I guess. Fall in love with your captor. That's what's happening.
Right.
Stockholm syndrome, I guess. Yeah. Because in this little girl's eyes now, I am not her mom. I am just Amy. My husband that she called, daddy, and by his first name. No more. She tells me the foster mom is my mom now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And mom told her to tell her mom.
And I never kept it from that little girl that the birth mother was not her mom. Her mom. And I never kept that from her. We just told her, she has two moms, two dads. You get twice the love, baby. And I thought, I would explain things to her when she got old enough to understand. But of course, I didn't get that chance. Will I ever? I don't know. I mean, how do you help a child that's been put through this crap?
Well, they cause children trauma. They do cause them trauma. And they do brainwash the children. They brainwash them all the time. Like I said on my other shows, is that I have spoken to several kids who actually outgrew the system. And they told me from age 7, when they were there, they were told their families don't want to see them anymore. But when they found their mom said it's not true. And she showed them evidence of text messages, emails, wanting to see her children. And the social worker refused. And the foster parents made accusations against her and her dad, her husband. And the children learned the truth when they found their parents. What's sad about all this, when a child turns age, I think 16 or 17, if they tell the foster parent, I want to look for my mom and dad, the foster parent puts the child into a mental hospital facility. A mental facility.
I better not find out that happens.
Yeah, so basically, we get so many different information what they do to foster kids. Like I said, I have spoken to them, and a lot of them are afraid to expose themselves right now because they're scared.
Yes.
And they're scared to talk about their past. And the thing about it, they're trying to forget. A part of them want to live their life normal. But there's always this in the back of their head, something, they basically stole their life from their family.
Yes.
And they lied. And it's not because the young man I spoke with and the young lady, they said their mother never done drugs. Never. But that's what they would tell the social worker, and the social worker would force them to lie and say that they've seen their mother do drugs. And they said the social worker told them that if you don't do that you're not going to see your mother again. But they trick the kids and say, if you say this, then the judge is going to say, okay, we're going to forgive your mom and dad, and then you're going to go home. That's what they tell your kids. That's what people don't understand. There's so much that they say to the children that is not true, but as a child, you believe them. Because all you want to do as a child is go home to your mom or your dad or both.
So, yeah.
And so they starve the children. They literally starve the children from being around family. You're family to that child. You're more family than a foster piece of shit parent is, by the way.
Yes.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense. But then when you really think about our government, our government doesn't make sense. Our
No.
government is not really there to help us. They're not here to help us. They're actually here to hinder us.
Yes.
And the ones that get away with murders are celebrities, right?
Yep. Yep.
People
Money.
Money. So follow the money. Follow the money. That's where all the
Yeah.
shit hits the fan.
And you know what? I never, and I never ever once asked for any help from them while raising this little girl, because the mother, the birth mother, she provided that help for me with the help to me, and
right.
You know, despite her disability, they never gave her a chance with this little girl. They never gave her a chance with her son to even mess up. So how do they know that she's going to mess up? How do they know that? They don't, because they were never given that chance. And now the little girl, her half sisters, her mother, okay, when they removed her two sisters, she was a wreck, and they told her, if you don't stop crying, then we're going to take your son too. They left the son there, and if she's such a crappy mom that doesn't put the needs above her children, above her own, why leave that little boy there with her?
Yep.
That doesn't make no sense.
It makes no sense.
They want the ones that are loved and nurtured, and because they're not going to be problem children to the foster parents. Now, the next building over from me, there's a couple that had two little girls, and they were removed not too long ago. And I think it took them a whopping 2 months to give them back, because they were troubled children, because they were cussing, and because I wouldn't let the little girl I raised, I wouldn't let her play with her one day. I told her to go home to her mommy because of the way she was talking. She was cussing. And my mom will whoop my effing ass for that. And I'm like, okay, no. I said, honey, go home to your mom. And I told the little girl I'm raising, I said, let's go in. And yeah. Troubled ones, they don't want them. So they're back over there now getting treated like crap by their parents. But you know what? They should help them. Those parents that have the troubled kids, they need to help them.
They're not going to help the parents. They couldn't give they don't care about the parents. That's why when they say things like child protective services, you're not protecting the children. You're causing trauma to the children. You're creating trauma in the child's life, and the child's brain is not even developed fully yet. And you're stealing these children from family and from innocent relatives and friends. You are family to that child. You're literally family to that child. And people, okay, I had a case actually a week ago where the paternal aunt was trying to get placement of her niece and nephew. You're not going to believe this. The paternal aunt is a registered nurse. Okay? She's a registered nurse. Great job. She has a home, kids, a husband, been married for I think she said 18 years or 17 years, something like that. And of course, no priors, what have you. Her husband is a contractor, right? So they would not place the niece and nephew with her, and you're not going to believe why. You're not going to believe why. The reason they told her they cannot place the children with her. Because her home was not big enough. She had 5 bedrooms. She only has 2 children.
Oh, this stupid internet.
But they said her home wasn't big enough. So that's basically what it is. They're making excuses. They're not trying to help mothers. They're not trying to help relatives. They're just setting them up to fail 100%. That's all it is. Okay? So if you can't afford an attorney, you guys, again, do your best. Like I said, people find a way. People find a way by getting loans or by getting family members to, go door to door, donation from friends they went to college with, or they went to school with, or some clients of ours sell their classic cars, whatever. They do whatever they can to be able to get an attorney, but don't wait to the last minute. You know, a lot of people contact us at the last minute when they're about to lose their parental rights. And they expect the retainer to be very small or no retainer at all. When you go through a CPS investigation phase, that's when it's important for you guys to get an attorney. Because what's important for the attorney, what the attorney does is that the attorney makes sure that the children or the child is not removed from the home. That's very important. And don't depend on the court-appointed attorney. The court-appointed attorney, yes, they're pro bono for you guys, but they're not really pro bono. They get paid. They do. And if there's any false allegation, make sure that you do not retaliate against a social worker. For instance, if you have a video of a social worker in your home and say the social worker said that she wasn't in your home, don't send the social worker a copy of the video and retaliate against her. You understand? It's like kind of like don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing for a reason, because you're already given her an idea of what you're about to do next and what evidence you have. So the social worker is going to retaliate against you, like using full force. So don't threaten them. Don't send them evidence. They're not there to help you. Remember that. They're not there to help you. They're there to hinder you. It's very important for you guys to understand that. And do not give in when they tell you, if you admit to this, sign this paper that you did it, whatever the crime is, and then you're going to get your child back or your children back. That's a straight out lie. That is not the freaking truth. But people, parents in general, they get desperate. They get desperate. And they do whatever the social worker tells them to do. Like I mentioned on my shows before, I do every person that calls me or every person that texts me, a lot of people request Mr. Davis's book, right? Mr. Davis, we just send his book via text or via email, whichever way you prefer. I prefer text because you can just flip it from your phone. It's easy to read. So I send you guys Mr. Davis's book that has all the laws pertaining to CPS. And it breaks it down how to win against CPS. So Mr. Davis himself broke this down for people's rights. If you guys cannot afford a consultation, a paid consultation with Mr. Davis, then you can call the radio show. And the radio shows are on Saturdays from 7 to 9 p.m. And you can, Mr. Davis will ask you on the show, do you have a question to ask or do you have a story to tell? I tell people to ask the question, write it down ahead of time, so that way you can ask the right question or questions. Because find a way, there's always a way, you guys. There's always a way. We have a client that actually got money from a neighbor. A neighbor knew her and her kids and her husband, and she was sad to see them, what they were going through. And she lent her half of the retainer. And all she's doing is paying the neighbor every month. So people find a way. I hear so many different stories, but do not rely on a court-appointed attorney. Do not. Because they're useless. They're just there as a body, but not, it's like their souls are empty inside. And when you come to our law office or any law office, don't just ask for an attorney. And a lot of people say, okay, well, the family law attorney is cheaper. No, it's not cheaper. It's not a matter of cheaper. It's a matter of knowledge. Family law and juvenile, completely different jurisdictions. Remember that. Juveniles are not family law. It's state. You're dealing you versus the state of California, for example, if your case is in California. But what I'm finding people doing lately is that people, they retaliate against law firms. They get angry when they don't get their way. And that's not how you guys should be thinking about this whole thing. Attorneys are there to help you. I'm not talking about the court-appointed attorneys, but most juvenile dependency attorneys know that the system is crooked, and they do their best to help you. However, what the court-appointed attorneys that you had before and the social workers, once you open your mouth to the social worker, you already set your case up for failure. That's why it's very important for you guys to get an attorney before you open your mouth to a social worker, period. But once you open your mouth to the social worker, that social worker is going to write shit on the report that's not true. Completely false information. So that attorney that takes over the case now has to implement the strategy. I hope that they do have one, but that's how it should be. Implement the strategy to win your case. But you also have to be honest with your attorney. Don't mislead your attorney and then wait till the last minute of the case, then you tell something that's completely different, a completely different story. Don't do that. And then, of course, if you don't notify your attorney, then you're screwing you and your attorney. And then I had a potential client that asked me, is the information that we share with our attorney confidential? I said, yes, it's confidential for life. However, don't wait till the last minute of your case and disclose something that happened that your attorney wasn't aware of it from the day you hired that attorney. Be honest with them. Tell them the truth. The strategy implemented is a reversal of what the social workers or the court-appointed attorney wrote down in the report. That strategy reverses somehow, depending on the case and the complexity of the case, what they've done. But oftentimes people, when they hire us, they think they can call the attorney every single day for every little thing. That's what drains your retainer out. Because it's in everybody's contract. When the attorney works on your cases, the minute they read your email or the minute they read your text message, for example, then all of a sudden the retainer is worn out, and we tell people that it's in the contract. So they get mad when the retainer runs out and then the attorney is asking for more money. So you guys have to read the contract very carefully. And if you guys have to get a second opinion, then that's fine. Because even in our contract, Mr. Davis always says get a second opinion if you feel the need to, or ask questions if there's something you're not understanding about the contracts. So attorneys get paid for everything they do on your case, whether they read your email, whether they read your text, whether they take your calls. It's all pertaining to your case. If they have to speak to another counsel about your case, then that's also pertaining to your case. So yes, it costs money. I have a client, before she hired us, she filed paperwork by herself. She was representing herself in a family law case, not in a juvenile, but a family law case as pro per. She was representing herself while her husband had an attorney. She said the filing alone was over $900 in just filing fees. When she realized, as she was doing her case on her own, how much money and time is required, she realized she would rather pay an attorney for that. Because A, she wouldn't do the paperwork right, and then the judge would deny it because it's not completed correctly. Then she tried to go to a legal help or some room in the courthouse to help her fill out the paperwork, and they still helped her wrong. So the judge denied it again. So you guys have to understand, you're not attorneys, so you don't know what you're doing. So don't take matters in your own hand, because even when you do it on your own, you still have to pay money. There's no way around it. But you guys, again, be very mindful who you deal with. And also voting is important. A lot of people say, well, voting, why do we have to worry about voting? Voting is important because judges are automatically elected. So when you vote for them, when you vote for new judges, search who you're voting for. Be very mindful who you're voting for. That's very important. Again, God bless you guys. I'm praying for each and every one of you guys, seriously. And again, do not give up. Please do not give up. And find a way to get a juvenile dependency attorney. And please, please, please do not hire a family law attorney. They cannot help you. But they will take a small retainer. But they will not be able to help you. All right, everyone. I'm going to end the show. Have a great afternoon. And again, keep your faith. Be strong. And gain knowledge on how to fight CPS. Some of you guys watch my show tonight at 7 p.m. It's Relatives Fight CPS. And I will see you guys again next week if I don't see you guys tonight. And God bless all of you. Bye-bye.